Hi Pisces, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your general read for the month of December. Keeping it super casual today. I can't believe I'm doing these readings in this hat. Today is the day before Thanksgiving while I'm taping this, and I kind of waited till last minute to decide how I wanted to handle Thanksgiving. So I was kind of running around in stores today, and it's just kind of a shit show, and I got a lot to do. But I really wanted to get these readings out, as many as I can, before the eclipse that happens late Sunday into Monday. So if you don't mind, I look a little ridiculous. And if I don't mind, you don't mind, let's just look at the cards. You're coming out as the Knight of Wands. I like this. I like this because I feel like my Pisces is like, hell yeah, Mars is direct. The planets are direct. Not only are they direct, but they're making major shifts. You know, that Sun into Sag is always a very special time for Pisces because there's so much. It feels like a kindred spirit between Pisces and Sag. The optimism, the ability to adapt. Pisces is kind of that laid back, allow it to flow kind of energy, and Sag is that of a wildfire. And I feel like Pisces gets a little bit lit up themselves in Sag season. I feel like we've been pent up for a lot of 2020, and just as we thought, you know, that maybe we could start to get together with our friends and our family and reconnect with people. Instead of getting better, it gets worse, right? Especially here in the States, when the numbers seem to be increasing, schools are closing, we're kind of moving a little bit backwards as far as progress, as far as connecting with other people. But Sag season, all of a sudden, there's this vaccine that comes in and it creates a little bit of hope. And it's kind of this optimism like, well, if we don't have Thanksgiving, at least we'll have Christmas maybe. Or at least we can look forward to a really exciting spring. Or maybe because we had to stay home for a while, now we can afford that vacation we really wanted to go on. It just feels like forward feeling, forward attention and focus, and optimistic, and full of desire and curiosity. Now, the one thing that the Knight of Wands doesn't particularly possess is that of commitment, that of investment. The Knight of Wands kind of just wants an experience. Now, I know that a lot of times here and now in this type of world, we look at that as being selfish. But when you approach that kind of an attitude, you also wonder if maybe they're just not a little bit wiser than the rest of us. Maybe those people that refuse to commit or let society form them into a certain role that they have to be. You know, those free spirits that we look at and we think, oh my God, those people are crazy. But there's like that part of us that's like, I really wish I could live like that. You know? Like, it's just about the experience. And Pisces, your atmosphere is that of the sun. So most likely you are in an element of growth, of being nurtured. Now, the Knight of Wands doesn't necessarily get nurtured from like one thing. And usually the Knight of Wands is a very Sag energy to me. It's more about learning. It's more about the process. It's more about growth on a spiritual level. It's more about the bigger picture of what we want from life and what really makes us happy. And it's about the things that we can be truly ourself with. It might be more focus on your hobbies, more focus on the social scene. You might be really determined, kind of in spite of better judgment even, to have those connections with people. Because I think Pisces is looking for happy. I think they're looking for a break. I think they're looking for relief, for some fun. Now I say that because the first two cards out is that of the Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. Now, sometimes I see this Ten of Pentacles and I see it as goals. I see it as all those things that you really want to do, all those things that you want to achieve, the things you want to own. But now I feel like it's just heavy. I think sometimes we get into that point in our life where we realize we've got a lot of stuff. We have the homes, we have the cars, we have the phones, we have the technology, we have the apps, and with that we have a ton of deducts coming out of our checkbook, and life gets even more and more complicated the more it feels. Everything just feels complicated here. Ten of Pentacles is like all the things you wanted to have so badly, and then you get them and you're like, wow, this is not really what I wanted at all. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily mean that you're in a place where you don't want what you have. It could just mean that there's burnout. It could just mean that you just need a break. Now, if you've been in quarantine with your kids or your husband, if you've been working because honestly there's nothing else to do, you can't go anywhere on vacation, so you just kind of work. You get into routines, and then those things become so concrete that you would almost do anything to get away from them. And I think that's where Pisces is at. I think that Pisces needs a break. Pisces really needs a vacation. And the thing is, if you don't allow yourself to get away, take a break, that stuff that you're feeling on the inside, that anxiety, that animosity, that resentment, like sometimes you just have one of those days, you love your children so much, but it's like, oh my God, if he says mom one more time, my head's gonna explode. And there's no particular reason. It's just because everything starts to feel like Groundhog Day. And if we keep repressing it, we keep holding it in, we keep being real stoic, like, no, everything's fine, I love my life, If you're trying to deliver that message on social media, like, I've got it all together, counting my blessings, it's gonna come to the surface. It's gonna come out. Now, it can come out in a couple of different ways. And Five of Swords means that you could be real testy. You could be a little quick with your words, a little impatient, a little hot-headed. Maybe there feels, if you are in a relationship, like there is a lack of affection or some emotional distance. And I think the lack thereof will become very obvious and very irritating. And sometimes, even though we are adults, even though we know better, Five of Swords can put you in kind of a childish kind of behavior. And this may be someone else. This may be the person that you're dealing with who seems to kind of be demanding of your attention. And you know, they say bad attention or negative attention is still attention. And I wonder if Pisces, in the midst of feeling exhausted and burned out and in need of a vacation, doesn't have somebody or something kind of nagging at them, kind of pushing their buttons. And although it feels abrasive, although it might feel, resentful, I think it might come from a place of somebody being needy and not knowing how to express it. Now, here's the thing. If you are repressing this energy, you might also start to feel bored and pick fights. This could just be when you don't pick your battles. If you've got a bunch of kids at home and you're upset because they're leaving socks everywhere. At some point, you might just need to let go and understand that there will be socks everywhere. We're always home. There's nothing going on, and this is life now. And I think it's important to know that there is that option to sort of let things go, to surrender. And the more that you could focus on the things that do make you happy, even if that means locking the bathroom door for an hour and taking a bath, even if that's what that means. And it's really important that it happens. It's important because your mental health and your physical health is very connected this month. And I could feel that. And I could feel like you're going to need to physically fill a mental uneasiness or anxiety. Now, your overall energy is that of the Ten of Swords and the Ace of Swords in reverse. And I don't like this energy. It kind of is so ultimately stoic that it feels like you're letting yourself go down with the ship. And I don't like the Ace of Swords in reverse because it's kind of like accepting defeat and not really even allowing yourself to have a voice. And sometimes when we do that, when we get there, when we get to that place where it just doesn't simply feel like it's worth arguing, I'm not going to make my case, I'm not going to stick up for myself, it's just simply worthless. Sometimes when we walk away and we don't say the things that we need to say, they kind of become physically rooted within us. So here we are, Saturn, Jupiter conjunction, middle of eclipses. It's a pretty chaotic and crazy month. And so you are going to get provoked. And I think that the way that you approach it is going to ultimately determine the outcome of the situation. Your cards, your astrology cards, are that of the 6th house, the Aquarius card, and Mercury. And this is where I'm saying the tie between your physical body and your mind and your thought processes and how toxic the negativity is for you. And how likely it can be that you begin to develop physical ailments due to simply not dealing with these emotions, not honoring your body's need for a break, a need for healing. Healing is Aquarius energy. Also an energy of advancement and cooperation and co-creating with others. And something feels to me like Pisces is going to have to put their guard down a little bit. You're going to have to get a little bit more honest with the people that love you, the people that are in your life, and maybe even have to disappoint some people. See, this 10 of Pentacles has the Wheel of Fortune underneath. The Wheel of Fortune does tell me that the situation is it's likely to change. There's a transformation going on, and it could be within you, it could be within a relationship, and it could be a twist of fate, a real change in direction. And the 10 of Pentacles is often something that's been around for a really long time. And maybe you've reached a point of burnout, Pisces, where you're even considering walking away from a marriage, walking away from a long-term relationship. And maybe there's a part of you that needs to take a minute and really explore the role that you play here. Because there are things that you may not understand. And when I see the Ace of Swords in reverse and a lot of mercurial energy, it tells me that you're really in your head. And the Knight of Wands needs you to be a little bit more in the body, in your intuition. You got to shut the mind off. You have to get a little bit quiet in order to decide where you want this to go. And this amount of major arcana tells me that we're not talking about small changes in your life at all. We're talking about really changing, really uprooting things. There's some cards here that represent children being involved. So if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling trapped in a situation, it might be a good time to really look at the things that you can do to change it. Because it does feel, Pisces, and it might not help you to hear it, but most likely there's a lot of people that love you and a lot of people that depend on you. Probably financially, probably foundationally, definitely emotionally. These are people that are invested in you. And even if it is a career, even if you feel like you suddenly want to leave a job that you've had or a career that you've worked on for a really long time, that you've made a lot of progress in, and now all of a sudden kind of this Uranus transit comes along and it's like, oh my God, but I know I just always wanted to do that. I'm just not going to do this anymore. And there might be a part of you that feels like, okay, now's the time. I really want to make this change. And you can be really impulsive. We're in eclipses. Not only can you be impulsive, but really crazy opportunities can come your way out of nowhere. And so that I tell you that in order for you to proceed, you've really got to be honest with yourself. Honest with yourself about what you want. Is it a break that you need? Is it just a certain amount of excitement? Or do you really demand this level of change? If it is change that you want, it's certainly yours. I'm just not so sure that you're clear on what you want. This Wheel of Fortune comes out next to the Three of Pentacles. Next to that is the Empress. The thing is, this 10 of Pentacles, I'm not so sure it's done. I'm not so sure you've kind of completed that karmic wheel. I think somehow there's a lot of attraction to say the least. And it feels almost like there's still untapped potential. Now, the Three of Pentacles in the center of this, especially coming out underneath that Six of Swords, you may want to be careful with that whole the grass is greener on the other side scenario. Sometimes I see this come through in transits, and especially transits in your 12th house, and you are about to have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in your 12th house. It's a house of undoing. It's a house of secrets. It's a house of surrender, isolation, hidden enemies. Oftentimes, us and our subconscious being that hidden enemy. And when we have Uranus involved this month, you could really start to feel this need for freedom so bad that you really do that crazy thing. That thing you never thought you'd do. That thing that most likely you could regret. Three of Pentacles can indicate a three-party situation, and with the Empress, it's kind of like a moth to the flame. If there is somebody new that you have your eye on, feel free to explore for certain. The Three of Pentacles is a very good collaboration, but if you're in a situation where you are with somebody else, it's probably best to leave this alone until you kind of wrap up the other situation. I feel like there's a little bit of karma here. That's why I say when I see that Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of like be careful how you proceed. And I'll explain why in a second, but I just want to say that I think later on in the month, I think maybe headed into 2021, you might look back at this moment and really wish you would have taken the high road. The Wheel of Fortune and then the Page of Wands. Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. It's almost like a reversal. It's almost like I don't really want to adult anymore. And I don't know if there is some kind of a regression back to your past, something that reminds you of your childhood, somebody from your childhood. Maybe it's even another child, if you have a child involved in the situation that kind of ultimately changes the situation. And for me, this Page of Wands feels really particularly powerful. This Page of Wands is this curiosity, this need to go up after whatever it is that you desire, and it's kind of a feeling like you want instant gratification. Now we have that, and we have the Sun card. These can be a little bit selfish, be a little bit reckless even. And next to the Page of Wands is the King of Cups. King of Cups is directly underneath the Three of Pentacles. Be careful what you do with your heart. Because in the end, you will be the one who has to heal it. You will be the one who has to do the work. And the thing is, we're here at the end of 2020 and we've been through hell and back, and it's been a struggle. It's been one hell of a year. And we've gained all of this strength. And yeah, we're pent up. And yeah, we felt the Mars retrograde. And yeah, we feel like we just continually get denied all the things that we want, all the pleasures that we want. We feel like everything is very Saturnian. And we want some excitement. But that excitement is going to fulfill you for nothing more than a moment. Page of Wands is something very new, and it's also something that can disappear just as fast. But that Three of Pentacles tied to that Ten of Pentacles is the long term. It is the dignity. It is the self-respect. And I think that it's best to kind of ask yourself those things before you leap than wondering about it later. Below this Empress card, which is right in between this Five of Swords and the Hierophant. And I have to laugh because to me, it's like the boredom and being unsatisfied has caused you to manifest yourself a little bit of a situation. And that situation can kind of really be something you can laugh at, or it could kind of really put your life in a cycle of upheaval. And you have to ask yourself, what do you want long term? What is it worth? Okay, because you might just need a vacation and not really to actually leave your spouse and your children, okay? Or you might just need a break from school instead of like completely dropping out of college. You might just need a vacation than quitting that job that you worked so hard to get. Okay, I think it's just a testament to how strong it's going to feel, this need to get away, and how important it is to address it and to address it with integrity. Now, underneath this Empress is a Hierophant, meaning that ultimately you will choose a higher path, or at least you will see it and know what the right thing was to do. Either way, there's lessons. There'll be rewards if you do things the right way. There'll probably be some pretty karmic lessons to learn if you don't. Now we're starting new cycles all over the place, new cycles. Saturn and Jupiter. We finally have Saturn getting the heck out of Capricorn. So things are shifting so much. And sometimes when the world changes, you know, I used to be like a Walking Dead junkie. So one of the themes in that show, like when the shit hit the fan, when in the middle of the apocalypse, the most important thing, the biggest element of survival was holding on to humanity. And even though survival might mean that you've got to do some really awful things that you never even thought you'd be capable of, the integrity is what gives you the strength to make the right decision. Now, maybe you are in a situation, you are in a marriage that doesn't fulfill you, you really do feel stuck, and this really is meant to be a time of change. Wheel of Fortune, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that it isn't appropriate for you to leave something that doesn't make you happy anymore. I'm just saying that the rewards will come. It will be easier in the process if you do things the right way. Leaving a marriage because you're unhappy or leaving a job because you're unhappy is probably better to do it by having the honest conversations telling the truth about how you feel, doing the right things. And it's probably not a good idea to just jump into another relationship or have an affair or take the risk of really seriously hurting somebody that probably doesn't deserve it just because you feel pent up and restless. Ultimately, this Ten of Swords and this Ace of Swords in reverse leads to the Judgment card and the Death card. It's just a lesson, and it's just a matter of how do you want to learn it and how do you want to go about it. And I'm telling you that integrity is going to play a really integral part. Judgment card means that at the end of the day, you're going to judge yourself. You're going to live with the decisions. Might mean that you're going to have to watch your children's heart break. Might mean that you're going to have to really watch this other person's heart break. And it's a matter of, is it worth it? Is it right for you? And the thing is, you get the Judgment card, but you still get the Death card, meaning you are transforming from this situation somehow, some way, changing, transmuting the pain, turning it into something positive. And there's a lot of ways to turn it into something positive. If it's a relationship, you can explain to your partner how you're feeling. You can ask to go to therapy together. You could work on things. You could maybe schedule that vacation, get that babysitter, do that thing, put your relationship first. But there are ways to do it within integrity. Now, the other two oracle cards you have are success and adversity. And I like that. I like that because I just kind of feel like that's life. Success and adversity. You win some, you lose some. You have phases in your life where you really got to work hard. And then you have a time in your life where you kind of enjoy the fruit of your labor. You might really feel out of balance right now. You might really feel like this one cycle has lasted way too long. And adversity means that Five of Swords means that the chaos may really need to come out. Ultimately, the adversity might prove to you all of the things that you truly have and love and enjoy. Maybe somehow going through this crazy transit or this experience or this need to break away, maybe in some way, shape, or form it reconnects you. If it doesn't reconnect you to another person or make you more reconnected with your career path, then ultimately it just gets you more connected with you. And how important it is that all of the decisions that you make moving forward are things that serve you, that are authentic to you, that are on your vibration, things that you truly enjoy, and things that you could be yourself with. If you're in a marriage and you feel like you can't be yourself, if it truly does feel like a prison, then you certainly should not stay in that. And it may be hard. It might be hard to have those conversations. It might be hard to do the right thing. And ultimately, even if you do something crazy and get caught and it leads to the end of a relationship, it's still a blessing. The adversity leads to success. It clears up what you truly want and desire. And the only reason you're here is to seek advice on how to do it in the best way possible. And so that, I say, the Hierophant. Do it the right way. Do the right things. Do something that you can live with at the end of the story. But by all means, do what's right for you. Do what's right for you in the long run. you got these two animal cards of the deer and the spider. Now, the deer is a super nurturing, loving energy. This energy of compassion, of complete and utter adornment. In the book, it talks about kind of relating it to a new parent with their baby and how fragile life feels. And there might be somebody or something or the situation in your life that feels really fragile. And it could be you that feels really fragile. And it could be you that really needs some nurturing and some love. And that spider is about abundance and prosperity, and it's about luck, and it's about all the right things coming together energetically. And I think with that Three of Pentacles, even if there are endings and beginnings, even if you are changing relationships or changing jobs, ultimately the switch of new people that come in your life is truly fated and meant to be. The spider represents kind of a web of karma. The next phase, the next chapter opening up in your life. And your final oracle card is card number 1, card of Yang. This is a very masculine energy, which means you have to take action. It means that you have to address your needs, your desires, your wants. You have to make them a priority. This is where you take action and you go out and you say the things that you say and you do all the actions that you need to draw in the things that you want in your life. It can also indicate heightened sexual energy. So Pisces, kind of try to take it a little bit easy this month and try to stay a little bit out of your mind, because the mind has a funny way of justifying things that aren't justifiable. Mind can be a really tricky place. So before you proceed in anything, my best advice to you is to kind of sit back and do some inner work. Draw the boundaries, take the time for yourself, honor yourself, and figure out what it is that you need without doing anything drastic or anything that you will regret. And I think if you start to allow yourself to resonate with those things, to accept who you are and to love yourself for who you are, and allow yourself to make the changes in your life that need to be changed, I think luck is going to be on your side. I think there will be great rewards for handling this in a dignified manner. All right, Pisces, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Do you know it's been 1 year that I started this channel? So I'm super excited. I'm having a lot of fun in December. As you can see, I'm just so casual with you guys. All right. I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll be back mid-month. All right. See you guys later. Bye.